remain standing for the gospel? Mike? Mike's not here today. Mike didn't show up today. All righty. Our gospel reading for today is Matthew chapter 5, verses 13 through 16, and it's fairly short. You are the salt of the earth. But if salt has lost its taste, how can its saltiness be restored? It is no longer good for anything, but is thrown out and trampled underfoot. You are the light of the world. A city built on a hill cannot be hid. No one, after lighting a lamp, puts it under a bushel basket, but on the lampstand, and it gives light to all in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father in heaven. The Word of God for the people of God. You may be seated. It says on there, the ramblings of Ray, and that's what it's going to be. You know, last week, somebody came forth and said, you know, you need to get back in a rotation and do your part of being up here on the stand and telling us a little bit about God. And so I took her at her word, and here I am. Thank you. So, ramblings of Ray, and Ray is rambling today. We're going to talk about miracles. Talk about miracles today. What is a miracle? Anybody got a guess? What is a miracle? Well, a miracle is God breaking into our lives to accomplish a purpose. God breaking into our lives to accomplish a purpose. And so my sermon today, because it's Super Sunday and want to get you out of here soon, I'm going to tell you about 5 miracles that happened in my life. You get an idea. The first miracle happened while I was quite unawares. I must have been about 10 or 11. Mom had sent me to the store in Woodside. There was a store in Woodside at that time, a grocery store. And she sent me, told me to go to the store and get something. And so I went out and I walked up on the highway. I looked both ways, and there was a car coming down this way, and I looked at that car, and being young and dumb, I said, I can beat that car across the road before he gets here. So just as I started to run, a voice said, stop. And I stopped right on the center line. That car went right on by me. No doubt of where I would have been had not somebody said stop. But it was later in life that I figured out that was the good Lord hollering at me. Because when I looked around, there was nobody outside, nobody anywhere near the highway. So that voice had to come from God. But it took me, at that time, I wasn't really aware of who God was, and so I had no idea where it came from. The second time that I think we all have miracles if you stop and think about it. The second time that I want to tell you about, I was at a Crucillo. I made a Crucillo, and I remember this was in 1980. And in our Cursillo, one of the things that we were supposed to do is to take a slice of bread and a glass of juice and go serve each other as many as you could serve until your bread and juice was gone. Well, we were in a big room, and I happened to look up over on the wall, and here's a picture of Jesus. And Jesus is looking right at us and smiling. Well, that's okay. Except a little later, I looked on that wall and the picture was not there. Once again, God breaking into our lives to show, and in this case, to show that approval of what we were doing, serving each other. And remember, right up there, with God, all things are possible. If God wanted to be in a picture on the wall, I think probably if Jesus would have showed up in the middle of us, we probably would have really been overwhelmed. But looking at the picture on the wall, and he's looking right at us and smiling. The third miracle I'd like to tell you about concerns hay. This was in the mid-'80s, early '90s, when I was ranching, and it was getting to be time to start haying. So I went down and talked to my uncle, because he usually wanted some hay delivered to his place, off the place. So I went down and asked him whether he was going to need any hay this year. And he said, no, not going to need any hay this year. And this was in May. Well, along about the 1st of June, middle of June, my uncle comes and he says, I'm going to need that 10 ton of hay. Uh-oh. Well, what do we do now? Usually, for years, I got 3,600 bales, roughly 3,600 bales off of the ground that we hayed. And I'm wondering where I'm going to get my uncle 10 ton of hay. But we started haying, and when I shut the baler down at the end of the haying season, there was 4,000 and some odd bales. Okay, where did that 10 ton of hay come from? Had to come from God, because for years, 3,600, and now this year I've got 4,000. But God knew that I needed it before, and I guess he put some super fertilizer on there or something, because we had the 10 ton of hay to give. The next miracle I want to tell you about happened right out here, coming into church. I came over to church one morning, it was about 8 o'clock, and it was a bright sunny morning. And when I turned on, I came across from the other side, coming across to the church, and the sun was right in my eyes. I mean, it was right on the horizon, right in my eyes, and I couldn't see nothing, could not see anything. And actually, the road above just looked dark. I started to turn into church. Thump. Thump. What the heck was that? I looked in my rearview mirror, or on the side mirror, and there's a bicycle laying in the middle of the road. And I got out and run around the truck, and here's this fellow getting up off the road, brushing himself off. And I'm apologizing to him because I never saw him when I turned. he started apologizing to me for hitting my truck. Now, is that not God breaking into our lives? And we talked a bit. He got his bicycle. He had to turn the handlebars a little bit, straighten up the wheel. We shook hands, and he went on down the road, and I come on into church. But if it would have been 2 seconds earlier that I turned, he would have been in front of me. And I don't think he had much chance against that 2-ton truck. So it was a miracle that happened right then and there. And God broke into my life again. And the last one, miracle is recent. You know, there was a tree blew over on our house. That tree fell down and went between the house and the pump house. Of course, the big limbs on it took out the closet in our bedroom and did quite a bit of damage, but that wind was coming right straight east. Had that tree have fallen right straight east, guess who was in the bathroom in the tree where the tree would come down? And it's funny, yes, now, it's funny now, but if that tree would have come down there, I probably would not be here, because that's straight east from where that tree is, that's where the bathroom was. So once again, another miracle. God has blessed me with miracles. And I think God uses miracles to sometimes teach us a lesson, sometimes to bless us. But it is God breaking into our lives. And so I want you to think about your life a little bit, and think about things that have happened in your life, and see if not God has blessed you or gave you a lesson by breaking into your life. And that's all we're going to talk about today. But did you see down on the bottom of that page of your program, right down there at the bottom on the second page, it says homework. Most of the time I give you homework when I preach. I'm not a nice guy. There are 2 other readings which are kind of lengthy that are in the program for this Sunday. And they are Isaiah 58, verses 1 through 12, and 1 Corinthians 2, 1 through 16. So that's your homework, is to read and study on them, those 2 verses, and there will be a test next Sunday. There will be a test next Sunday. All right. And I thank you for listening, and let's see, we need a benediction. We have another hymn. First, hymn number 572.